Welcome everyone to Discover This. Today we're going to do another video on some of the long lost concert venues in the San Diego area. Some places maybe you went to see a show, some places maybe you just heard about. But we're going to cover some of these somewhat iconic places and tell you about many of the bands that played there. Certainly not all of them, we'll be here all day for that, but a lot of the bands that came through town and played at those various venues. So let's get started. Okay everyone, we are at the corner of 4th Avenue and B Street in San Diego. And this building here used to be the 4th and B Concert Theater. One of the better concert venues in San Diego for many years. It was opened in 1995 by the original owners of the Bacchanal. So when those people sold the Bacchanal, they messed around for a few years, and then they ended up buying this building and building it out to the 4th and B Concert Theater. Back in the day, where it says AMG Demolition, that's where the 4th and B sign was, and then obviously the marquee was right there. These doors in the center is where patrons would go inside, and then on the right hand side where those posters are, on the right hand side, that's where the box office used to be. Many performers played here. All kinds of music, comedy. They did DJ shows, you know, raves, that kind of thing. As far as the punk shows go, Social Distortion was here, X, the Cramps with Eddie Vedder in the audience. The Damned played here with Captain Sensible wearing a tutu. Bad Religion with Brett Garowitz on third guitar, which is very rare that you see Brett Garowitz play with Bad Religion anymore. Pennywise, Offspring, Flogging Molly, but tons of bands. Different, like I said, different kinds of music. But this would have been the front of the venue. All right, now we're on the west side of the venue. This is where many of the performers would have parked, you know, their buses, vans, cars, however they got here. There is a small parking lot here, so some of the performers would have parked in here. This hole that's punched there was not, that's part of the demolition they're doing now. The other side of that wall would have been the restrooms. This building was originally a bank, and then it was vacant for many years before the owners bought it and built out 4th and B. The main bar inside this building was called the Vault because that's what it used to be. But this end of the building over here is where the bands would load in, load out, and then the artists would go into the dressing room back here. Where this big red machine is, that's where the load-in doors were, and they'd put up a ramp to go up to the stage. It'd be stage left right on the other side of those doors, and then these doors right here were where the artists would go in. So they would make their way up these steps and go into the dressing room. Around this side of the building is also where they would sometimes park buses, vans, things like that. Okay, now we're on the 4th Avenue side of the building. Again, the other side of this wall right here is where the Vault was, the bar, or the Vault when it was a bank. And then down here there's a an exit door for when people were leaving the show, or if they were causing trouble, they would get ejected out this door. So this venue held about, I believe they had fire marshal approval for 1,500 people, but they generally only sold about 1,200 tickets and then gave them a 300 person buffer. So as opposed to when they owned the Bacchanal was about 550 people or so. But there was 2 different balconies people could sit in. Awesome sight lines throughout. The sound was really good. They put a lot of money into the sound system. But anyway, a lot of bands enjoyed playing here. A lot of bands came here more than once. So anyway, it's sad to see it go. They're going to put up another high-rise because that's what downtown San Diego needs. Obviously, is another high-rise. But anyway, this was 4th and B Concert Theater. It's another great San Diego concert hall that's no more. So just an update. June of 2023, and 4th and B is no more. Flatten the whole thing. You can see the California Theater right back there, but 4th and B is gone. So we are at 4642 Cass Street in the Pacific Beach area of San Diego, and this was the longtime home of the Roxy Theater. It's now a post office, but Roxy Theater for many years. A lot of good shows came through the Roxy Theater, not just punk shows. But you had regular shows, you know, Dire Straits, George Thorogood, your John Mellencamp's, Peter Tosh. This was also the first location of where the Police played in San Diego, was the Roxy Theater, May of 1979. Also the Boomtown Rats, their first U.S. concert was here at the Roxy Theater in February of 1979. But you also had Blondie, Lou Reed, just a number of bands came through. Now this was Roxy was demolished in about 1983, and this post office opened in 1984. But as for the punk shows that came through here, you know, Circle Jerks, X, Undertones, Blasters, and yes, I throw them under punk because they played a lot of the punk venues in Los Angeles and played with a lot of the punk bands in Los Angeles back in the day. Black Flag, the Dickies, Penetrators, and Iggy Pop all played here at the Roxy when it was the Roxy. So unfortunately long gone, but another piece of not just concert history, but punk rock history in San Diego. Now next up, we got an iconic venue here on Buenos Avenue. 1130. This was the Spirit Club. Opened in 1976 by Jerry Herrera. Remember Jerry Herrera? We did a video on his place, JJ's Palace, down on Pacific Highway. When that closed, he opened up here. He opened the Spirit of 76, and then it was shortened to the Spirit or the Spirit Club. But what a famous or infamous rock club in San Diego. So many bands played inside these four walls. I mean, March 25th, 1983, NXS played their first United States concert here, just on the other side of this wall right here. How about UK Subs? The Bangles. REM played here a number of times. Meat Puppets. Oh, you had Weird Al Yankovic here. But you also had Ministry, Lords of the New Church, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Faith No More, L7, Screaming Trees, Mudhoney, Blink 182. There was also the show by the infamous GG Allin and the Murder Junkies. Now, if you don't know who GG Allin is, I'm going to allow you to do the Google and look it up for yourself, but let's just say that many of GG Allin's shows ended with him naked, and they sometimes involved feces. So, much like the Shamu show at SeaWorld, you did not want to be in the front row at a GG Allin show. So we have some photos here from that show, from the whole World Wide Web. Some that I can show you anyway. But you can see what I'm talking about. Kind of wild and crazy show. But you also had Agent Orange, the Cramps, the Gears, Gun Club. Many bands played here. Many bands at the Spirit Club. Now in 1995, the place was sold and it changed names to Brick by Brick, which is what it is today. You still have a lot of bands coming through here, but instead of kind of focusing on the punk and alternative, if you will, shows, kind of went more hard rock and metal. So you had Thin Lizzy come through here, Blue Oyster Cult, Megadeth, but you also had Body Count, Red Cross, Godsmack, Dio, System of a Down played here, Rollins Band, Good Riddance and Youth Brigade, so getting back to the punk, TSOL, Melvins, Municipal Waste and Off with Keith Morris, Fireball Ministry, Agnostic Front and Sick of It All. That was a good one. The Queers. So many more. They still got many bands coming through here each week. So you can check out their website. But the old Spirit Club and now Brick by Brick. So we're now at 8022 Claremont Mesa Boulevard. And this was the location of the Bacchanal, and one of the great music venues in San Diego history, actually. Bacchanal opened in around 1976, and first incarnation closed around 1991. And after that, it got reopened again by new owners as the new Bacchanal, then as a place called the Rhythm Cafe, Sound Effects. It was a barbecue restaurant, and just other things. So obviously now it's a fan store, the dentist, and the wig place of all things, right there in the corner. So right where that red, white, and blue sign was is where the Bacchanal marquee used to be. In this strip mall also, right here on the end, was a liquor store for many years. And a lot of the people going to the show and then after the show would stop in there. Some of the bands would go in there, buy what they needed. But A lot of punk bands came through the Bacchanal. Ramones, X, Cramps, Johnny Thunders, Meat Puppets, Stranglers, Devo, Iggy Pop, the Buzzcocks, just so many more. They booked every kind of music. Rock, country, blues, jazz. So over the years, pretty much every artist you could think of would stop through here. This was the place to go, you know. In fact, one of the first bands that played here in 1976 was Slade, if you remember that British band back in the day. Come On, Feel the Noise, all that stuff. So this was, for many years, where the Bacchanal was. So one of the unique things about the Bacchanal was that the backstage area where the bands would hang out before or after the show was very small. Just a couch, a table, and that was about it. So many times they would prop open the back door and just hang out right out here and, you know, smoke and drink, whatever. But you could just come back here and hang out with the band if you knew about it, really. I mean, if you thought about it and came back here and took the opportunity to check it out. But, you know, I know people that helped the Ramones carry their gear to their car. You know, you could see Jason Ringenberg from Jason and the Scorchers take a whiz over the edge here. But just many different stories. You could just come in and sit down and tell a few jokes and hang out with the band. Again, just one of the unique things about this venue here. Too bad it's gone. But this would be the backstage area. Now, if you watched our first video on San Diego punk rock venues back in the day, you saw where the original Soma was downtown San Diego on Union Street. And you can go to our concert venues playlist and you'll find that video there. So after they closed the downtown Soma, they reopened here at 5305 Metro Street in the lower Linda Vista Morena Boulevard area in 1994. Many bands played this warehouse building, not in chronological order. You had Smashing Pumpkins, Oasis, The Cult, Weezer, Dave Matthews Band played here, and they recorded the show, and you can find it on their live track series. It's volume 21, and you can buy that CD. But Radiohead, No Doubt, played here a number of times. Tool. How about the Ramones? Bad Religion, Circle Jerks, the Cramps, Face to Face, Foo Fighters, Deftones with the almighty Fu Manchu, Fugazi, Green Day, Iron Maiden played here, L7 and the Melvins, Lagwagon, No Effects, Megadeth, local favorites Lucy's Fur Coat, Misfits and Anthrax, Offspring and the Dickies, the Queers and Swingin' Utters, Rancid, Rollins Bland, whatever. How about Slayer, Clutch, and System of a Down all on one bill? Social Distortion, and many, many more. Now this location of Soma ended up closing in 1999, and they moved to another location where they're still at today. And we'll show that on another video another time. But the Soma on Metro Street. So that's going to do it, everyone, for this little episode of Long Lost Concert Venues. We'll be doing some others from time to time, but hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you watching and taking the time. Got a lot of other videos coming, a lot of them in the can, just waiting to upload them. So please keep watching, hit the like button, please subscribe, and we will see you next time on Discover This.